Here are 12 shocking facts about Namibia that you absolutely won't believe. Number 12. The cold desert country. Located in the southwest of Africa, Namibia is a vast country but has one of the sparsest populations in the world, covering over 318,000 square miles, equivalent to the combined area of Texas and Louisiana. Namibia boasts stunning and diverse wilderness. The country borders Angola, Zambia, Botswana, and South Africa. But what makes it unique is its coastline, stretching over 976 miles along the Atlantic Ocean. Namibia is famous for the Namib Desert, one of the oldest deserts in the world, home to the tallest sand dunes on the planet, some reaching heights even greater than the Empire State Building. Although Namibia is a desert country, it lies between the equator and Antarctica, so it's not as hot as many people might think. Average temperatures range from 68 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, creating a cool and pleasant climate year-round. On colder days, temperatures can even drop to around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, providing a surprising chill amidst the arid landscape. With a population of only about 2.5 million people, Namibia is one of the least densely populated countries in the world, even fewer than New Mexico, but don't let that small number fool you. Namibia is home to over 10 different ethnic groups. The official language is English, but in reality, most people speak Oshiwambo, Afrikaans, and even German, a remnant from colonial times. It is also one of the few African countries with cities featuring distinctly European architecture, especially in the capital, Windhoek, where you can find excellent German beer, right in the desert. Namibia is also renowned for its wildlife, with vast national parks that are home to elephants, giraffes, and even cheetahs. And if you love stargazing, the Namib Desert offers some of the clearest night skies in the world, making it a paradise for astronomers and nature lovers alike. Number 11. The final stop for ships. When people think of junkyards, they often picture heaps of plastic waste, broken down cars, or rusting metal scrapyards. But in Namibia, a junkyard is not just a place where people toss out old items. It's also where massive ships come to meet their fate. Skeleton Coast, also known as the Skeleton Coast, is a stretch of land spanning over 300 miles along Namibia's northern coastline, where nature has created a perfect death trap. With fierce currents, unpredictable strong winds, and thick fog that blankets the area all day, this coastline has been a nightmare for sailors for centuries. Many ships have tried to navigate these waters, only to end up stranded, rusting, and decaying in the desert. It's no wonder that Skeleton Coast has become the largest ship graveyard in the world. Today, along this eerie shoreline, hundreds of dark skeletal shipwrecks stand alone in a landscape devoid of human presence. Some are so buried in sand that only their bows protrude, while others have been worn down by the wind to mere rusting frames, standing like ghosts of the past. These shipwrecks come from many parts of the world, fishing boats, cargo ships, and even military vessels. But they all share a common fate, betrayed by the sea and swallowed by the desert. Number 10. When Namibian women dress like European nobility. Anyone who has set foot in Namibia is captivated by the women here. Strong, stylish, and full of personality. In major cities like Windhoek, Namibian women can be seen in modern dresses, alluring crop tops, or vibrant outfits that reflect African culture. But if you think fashion in Namibia stops there, you are sorely mistaken. Prepare to be amazed, because there's no other place in the world where women dress like a character straight out of 19th century British royalty, right in the middle of the desert. In some parts of Namibia, if you glance around, you might think you've stumbled into a 19th century European gala. But no, this is the traditional attire of the Herero women. Herero women wear voluminous, sweeping skirts made of heavy fabric, resembling the dresses of Victorian ladies in Europe. Notably, they also wear horn-shaped hats, symbolizing the Herero people and their close connection to cattle. It might seem impractical, right? In a country with so many deserts and heat, these dresses are like mobile blankets. But for Herero women, the more extravagant, the hotter, and the harder to move, the better. The funniest part? This attire actually originated from their oppressors, the Germans. When Namibia was a German colony in the late 19th century, the Herero were forced to dress in European styles. But instead of merely complying, they went all out. Longer skirts, puffier dresses, and especially the horned hats. Number 9. Men are allowed to have multiple wives. In many parts of the world, marriage is seen as a one-man, one-woman commitment, a lifetime promise between two people. But in Namibia, some people willingly take on the responsibility of doubling, tripling, or even quadrupling by marrying multiple wives. Sounds like a dream come true for many gentlemen, right? Well, polygamy is still a completely legal reality here. In fact, the number of wives a man has often reflects his social status. The more wives, children, land, and cattle, the better. Women in these communities don't necessarily oppose their husbands taking additional wives. In some cases, the first wife may even have the right to suggest that her husband marry another wife if she feels she needs help managing the household or raising children. However, don't think that Namibian men can marry as many wives as they want without rules. In some communities, taking additional wives must be agreed upon by the family, the community, and sometimes even the current wife. And of course, not every man is qualified to have multiple wives. While polygamy still exists in some regions of Namibia, it's not as common as it once was, especially in larger cities, where Western influences and modern legal regulations have changed views on marriage. Nowadays, many young Namibians prefer monogamous relationships, and some modern women completely reject the idea of sharing their husbands with others. Number 8. A festival where you can choose a partner. If you're looking for a festival that truly embodies African culture, Oshi Shango is a unique experience you can't miss. This is the Marula Beer Festival of the Ovambo tribe, the largest ethnic group in Namibia. Held annually in March and April when the Marula fruit ripens, the Ovambo believe that this fruit is a gift from nature and brings good fortune. So what do? They turn it into a traditional beer and celebrate with parties that last for days. In this festival, women brew the beer and men, well, they just drink. There are no grand stages or dazzling fireworks, but instead, there are wild dances, lively folk music, and ancient stories told around the fire. One particularly bold aspect of this festival: women get to choose their partners. If a girl brings you Marula beer, it means she's giving you the green light. If you finish the drink, it means you accept her proposal. Simple, effective, and no lengthy introductions like in the West. But be careful, a single drink could lead to marriage. So if you don't want to be culturally kidnapped, it's best to think carefully before gulping it down. What do you think about this festival? Would you want to join in, or do you need a few tips on how to win over these girls? Comment with the number 4 below. We'll help you get married to a Namibian girl faster. Number 7. Namibians love the outdoors. Unlike busy cities where people are trapped between concrete walls, Namibians see the sky as their roof, the desert as their playground, and starry nights as the most precious moments of life. Here there's so much space, so much blue sky, and no reason to stay indoors. Nothing expresses Namibia's outdoor spirit more than a braai, an outdoor barbecue that's more of a cultural ritual than just a meal. As the sun sets, Namibians don't gather in crowded bars or fancy restaurants. They light a fire in the wild, grill meat over an open flame, and come together. For them, a perfect evening isn't about watching a movie indoors. It's about feeling the warmth of the campfire, listening to the sizzle of grilling meat, breathing in the fresh air, and letting time slow down. And if daytime is for campfires and chatting, nighttime is for the stars. Namibia has one of the clearest night skies in the world, where you can see the Milky Way sharper than on a TV screen. Here, Namibians don't sit indoors scrolling on their phones or binge-watching Netflix. They lie on the warm sand, gaze at the stars, listen to the wind tell stories. If you get a chance to talk to the San Bushmen, one of the oldest tribes in the world, they might point to the sky and share ancient legends about the constellations. Stories that have existed long before skyscrapers and modern life. Ghost town. In the early 20th century, a Namibian railway worker stumbled upon a sparkling diamond in the desert. That's all it took for the Germans to rush in like vultures, immediately declaring the area a special zone. They built a European-style town in the heart of Africa, constructing theaters, schools, hospitals, and even a bowling alley, all in the sweltering heat of the Namib Desert. Fresh water was imported from Cape Town, champagne was drunk instead of plain water, and women wore diamonds instead of cheap jewelry. But as with every town that thrived on mineral wealth, the story followed a familiar script. Diamonds ran out, money disappeared, and people left. By 1956, Kolmanskop was officially abandoned. Luxury homes stood alone, swallowed by the desert. And let's talk about the sand. It wasted no time reclaiming its territory. It poured in through windows, invaded bedrooms, and filled living rooms, turning once grand villas into massive sand pits. Walking through Kolmanskop today, you'll see dusty hallways, doors wide open as if screaming in despair, and walls where the paint peels away like a scene from a forgotten horror movie. Would you dare to spend a night here? Number 5. A wilderness paradise. With a population density of just 3 people per square kilometer, Namibia is one of the least populated countries on Earth. You can drive for hundreds of miles without seeing a single soul, except for a few curious antelopes staring at you like you're the strangest thing they've ever seen. Thanks to this lack of human presence, Namibia has become one of the most pristine natural paradises in the world. The country boasts 12 national parks, the most famous being Etosha National Park, home to over 114 species of mammals, including elephants, rare black rhinos, leopards, and of course, the lazy king, the lion. If you're lucky, you might even witness a $1 million hunting scene, something straight out of a National Geographic documentary. But if you think Namibia is just about wildlife, think again. The country is home to one of the tallest sand dunes in the world, Big Daddy, standing at 325 meters, 1,066 feet tall, which is higher than the Eiffel Tower. And if that's not enough, Namibia also has the oldest desert in the world, the Namib Desert, estimated to be 55 million years old, older than the Himalayas. Perhaps the strangest sight, Spitzkoppe, a collection of granite peaks rising 1,784 meters, 5,853 feet above sea level. They look like alien sculptures covered in ancient rock paintings dating back over 2,000 years. Number 4. The upside-down tree forest. Imagine wandering through the desert and suddenly coming across a strange forest where all the trees look as if someone ripped them from the ground, shook off the leaves, and planted them back upside down. That's the Quiver tree forest, one of the most unique natural wonders on Earth. These quiver trees, actually a species of giant aloe called Aloe dichotoma, can grow up to 9 meters, 30 feet tall and live for over 300 years. But their real claim to fame? Their weird, twisted appearance with gnarled trunks, branches reaching skyward at odd angles, and leaves growing in small clusters, making them look like a root system turned upside down. If the Quiver tree forest is rebellious, then Dead Vlei is the lonely soul of nature, surrendered but never gone. Dead Vlei was once a lush forest nourished by the Souchab River. But 600 to 700 years ago, the Namib Desert cut off the water supply and the land cracked apart. The trees died, yet they didn't decay. Why? The air here is so dry that bacteria and fungi, the things that normally cause wood to rot, can't survive. As a result, these charred tree skeletons have stood frozen in time for centuries, like ghosts of a forgotten world. Number 3. A little Germany in the heart of Africa. Step into Windhoek, the capital of Namibia, and you might do a double take. Are you still in Africa, or did you somehow teleport to Europe? This city isn't your typical African capital with chaotic traffic and sprawling street markets, though you'll still find those. Instead, Windhoek carries a distinct German flair, a lingering trace of Namibia's colonial past. Picture this, a grand German church standing tall beside a roadside eatery selling grilled game meat. You can order a Bavarian bratwurst while listening to locals arguing in Oshiwambo. It's as if the city is caught in a never-ending debate between a stern German businessman and a free-spirited African trader. Who wins? No one knows, but they'll definitely share a Windhoek lager before the conversation ends. The city's architecture reflects its split personality. Sleek European-style buildings with glass windows stand proudly, but right next to them, traditional markets overflow with everything from fresh produce to antelope horns. German efficiency? It exists in some parts. But just try crossing the street during rush hour. You'll quickly be reminded that honking is a national sport, and traffic lights are merely decorative. And let's talk about beer. Windhoek lager is brewed according to strict German standards, but it's consumed in true Namibian fashion. The more, the merrier. Germans may sip their beer in a disciplined manner, but Namibians? Here, beer is for singing, storytelling, and discussing whether desert elephants truly have a sense of humor. Number 2. A culinary paradise. Namibian cuisine is where indigenous traditions collide with European influences, creating an exciting food culture that's both hearty and adventurous. First, let's talk braai, Namibia's version of the Southern African BBQ. But here you don't just get beef and chicken. Fancy something wilder? Try kudu, antelope, oryx, or even crocodile grilled to smoky perfection. If you're a seafood lover, Namibia has you covered. Swakopmund, the country's famous coastal town, serves up fresh Atlantic lobster, salmon, and oysters, often caught just hours before they land on your plate. For something more traditional, there's pap, a thick maize porridge that's the backbone of many meals, much like polenta in Italy or grits in the US. Though it's simple, pap is the great equalizer served in homes across all social classes. And for dessert, Namibian milk tart. Think of a creamy, cinnamon-kissed pastry with a crispy crust that melts in your mouth. One bite and you'll wonder why this dessert isn't more famous worldwide. Number 1. Cost of living in Namibia. Namibia might be one of Africa's most breathtaking destinations, but living here is surprisingly affordable, especially compared to the US and Europe. Housing, a one-bedroom apartment in Windhoek's city center rents for $400 to $600 per month. Move to smaller towns like Swakopmund or Walvis Bay, and the price drops to $250 to $400. Want to buy? A decent home costs between $50,000 and $100,000. About a third of the price of a similar house in the US. Food eating out is a steal. A full meal at a casual restaurant costs just $5 to $8, while fine dining will set you back around $25 to $40. If you cook at home, expect to spend $150 to $200 a month on groceries. And just for reference, a gallon of milk is $1.50, and a loaf of bread is $1.20. Utilities and internet monthly bills range from $50 to $80 for an average apartment. High-speed internet costs between $30 to $50 per month, but if you're in rural areas, be prepared for slower connections. Transportation. Public transport is scarce, so most people rely on cars. Gas is around $4.50 per gallon, and a used SUV, perfect for Namibia's rugged roads, starts at $8,000. In total, a single person can live comfortably in Namibia on $1,000 to $1,500 per month, while a family can enjoy a good lifestyle for $2,000 per month, a bargain compared to New York or London. So, could Namibia be your next home or travel destination? Comment 1 if yes, 0 if not. We've just explored the wonders of Namibia together. Thanks for watching.